in the ideal world, there is actually not a lot of difference between the work of Lecoq and Strasberg, for example, because both, basically the roots of both suggest that the actor is full of tics and bad habits that the actor needs to begin to be aware of, eliminate, so that they can start from a blank canvas to begin to build characters. Unfortunately, what has happened with the work of, say, someone like Lee Strasberg is that, and method acting, whatever that means, is that it is compounded by years and years and generations of bad press and bad PR, and examples of actors who've hurt themselves or have suffered to the point of hurting themselves or the people around them. And so method acting perhaps has a lot of unnecessary baggage. That's number one. Number two is what you're also dealing with when you're talking about, say, Lecoq work or physical work versus the psychophysical work of the actor, is you're asking the actor not only to train themselves intensely on a physical aspect, but also to dig deep into their own psyche, into their own imagination. And that's where the work is perhaps not as easy to approach, because you would think, oh, it's in me, it should be easy to come out. But what you're dealing with is 20, 30 years of baggage and your own sort of like isms that you have to dig deep and pull out of. And the work in and of itself gets difficult because you're working against 30 years of bad habits.
Et c'est quoi alors les grandes questions qu'on se pose en ce moment dans le milieu?
I guess one of the biggest questions is first demystifying what it is. That you don't need to do drugs to be a drug dealer. You don't need to kill someone to be a psychopath. There are other ways of tapping into that psyche, that physicality. And once you begin to go past the ideas of demystifying it, then the next thing is you're working through the process of giving the actor permission to dig deep, because not everyone wants to, not everyone knows how to dig that deep. Then once you get past that, then you have to work towards, and assuming they know how to turn it on, then the next stage is teaching the actor how to turn it off. Because then, okay, I can cry on cue and I can feel all these things and all of this stuff is going on. Okay, great. Now you're going to learn how to control the flame a little bit so you don't overcook all the time. Then the last part of all of that is, beyond turning it off, is being able to be mindful of self-care of the actor, so that outside of the work they lead a healthy, balanced life. Mr. Strasberg used to say this a lot: if you really want to learn about acting, it's not going to happen in a class. You want to learn about acting, go build a boat. And did he mean actually go build a boat? Sure, maybe. But I believe what he meant was go live a life. Go see things, get your heart broken, get your heart made, talk to people, find out what's going on in life, have a healthy perspective as to what life is about beyond the bubble of what acting is.
Alors, il y a un truc qu'on m'a très souvent demandé, c'est...
Tu devrais complètement faire une vidéo 5 bonnes raisons de faire de l'impro.
Ça ferait tellement de vues.
Ben vas-y, écoute, fais-la.
Numéro 1.
C'est tellement libérateur.
Numéro 2.
Bah tu te fais des potes mais à vie genre tu vois quoi. Et puis les mecs, le théâtre c'est blindé de meufs tu vois. Enfin bon, surtout le théâtre de texte en fait.
Numéro 3.
Franchement on se marre bien quoi.
Oh, numéro 4.
On apprend à construire ensemble, c'est l'espoir de l'amour.
Et numéro 5.
Non puis t'apprends vachement sur toi quoi. Je veux dire moi-même j'aurais jamais pensé être capable un jour de jouer un cactus.
Abonne-toi.
Voilà, putain, c'est fait. Vous êtes contents? Moi non. Parce que tout ce dont j'ai parlé, c'est pas de théâtre, mais c'est de développement personnel. Et Kamil s'est commencé à retrouver des calembours sur le sujet, résume très bien ma position sur la question du théâtre-thérapie, qui est une chose que certaines personnes recherchent à travers le méthode acting.
Well, you can actually track all of that personal sort of self-exploration thing all the way back from Stanislavski, seeing as we track back to that man. The foundation of his system are the words "know thyself." And you literally cannot begin to play someone else if you don't even know what you bring to the table. Now, the work in and of itself, if taught appropriately, is preconditioned and disclaimed to be therapeutic, but it is not therapy at all. The moment you begin to look towards acting as a form of therapy, then it is probably not healthy. And there are other avenues of drama therapy that one can do, but to begin to look at it as a form of, I need to fix my stuff, it's probably not the most appropriate venue. That being said, because it is therapeutic, there are ways and means of playing characters, exploring yourself, exploring different roles, different scripts, where you get to flush the system out, where you get to experience catharsis. But the whole idea here is to do it in a safe, healthy, appropriate manner, so that again, you are still sort of being true to the work or truthful with the work. You're being responsible with yourself, responsible with your fellow actors, and even as you explore who you are also not losing who you are. You might grow your definition of yourself, you might expand your definition of yourself, you might try things that are beyond you normally, and yet at the same time, it is not a platform for you to go, blah, here are my problems, you deal with it. I don't think acting, or acting in the purest sense of the word, again, whatever that means, is meant for you to just go, blah. It still needs to be shaped and formed in a way that can be constructive towards a production.
Voilà, cet épisode est à présent terminé, j'espère que ça vous aura aidé et éclairé sur la question du method acting. Il y aura d'autres épisodes bientôt sur d'autres écoles de théâtre, d'autres écoles de method acting et sur le fameux système Stanislavski, et d'autres épisodes pour aller plus en profondeur sur ces sujets. Sur ce, je vous dis à bientôt, il y a des surprises qui vont arriver sur la chaîne assez vite, donc restez connectés. Je laisse le mot de la fin, monsieur, à une lettre près, je suis un Terminator. Allez voir l'impro, encore mieux, faites-en, ciao.
I suppose the question I want to ask to people is, why act? I mean, if you could do anything in the world, why on earth would you want to act? It is not the easiest of careers. It is not the most financially rewarding of careers. It is perhaps the most personal of all the crafts. It is the only art form where no one actually wants to see your technique. It is perhaps one of those things where you're going to have to work harder physically, mentally, spiritually than you ever have in the world. Why on earth would you want to do it? You've got to be mildly insane a little bit to want to do it. But that being said, if you still say, yes, I want to do it and this is what I'm going to dedicate myself to, then the next question you got to ask yourself is, what stories do you want to tell? Why do you think your story needs to be heard more than any other story? And what is it that you're bringing to the table that separates you from everyone else? How can you personalize the work that you do in such a way that when people see you on screen or on stage, then they might go, yeah, that person is the voice for the voiceless, whatever you are representing. And if you feel, oh, I'm actually just doing it for the fame and for the Instagram likes, then maybe you might need to look at something else.